Hey everyone, I'm Majiin, and welcome back to World Tour Weekly, your one-stop shop for all competitive Flesh and Blood news. You picked a pretty good week to tune in because this might be the most jam-packed episode I've ever done. We just have so much to cover. From the Silver Age ProQuest results to banned and restricted announcements to the first ever post-Compendium Classic constructed calling to the trailer for the new set to new heroes spoiled to new cards spoiled, we just have so many things. Let's get into it. I want to start us off by going over what's probably on everyone's mind right now, and that's the trailer for the new set, Omens of the Third Age. I'm not going to show the trailer here because it's already going to be a pretty long episode, but it's really good and I highly recommend you go watch it and then come back to the video if you haven't already seen it. Now, I'm usually not much of a lore guy, so we're going to touch on it briefly before looking at the set in more of a gameplay lens. The set Omens of the Third Age is about the three lightning heroes, Acilio, Aurora, and Ziggy Starlight, challenging an incoming dark cosmic threat. We don't know specifically what the threat is though, but it does seem rather threatening. We know that the way they plan to challenge this incoming threat is by using the lightning flow to kind of power themselves up, but we'll get into that in a second. First, let's talk about the new heroes. Up first is the new version of Aurora that Lightning Runeblade players have been looking forward to for a while, Aurora Legacy of Tempest. Okay, just to toss this out really quickly, the art for the set is ridiculous. Look at this marvel. She has an ability that you can activate at instant speed that says pay 2, tap her, and destroy a lightning flow token to create an embodiment of lightning. This seems to be slightly less powerful, but maybe more flexible than the original Aurora's ability was, which is probably a good thing considering how dominant she was back then. Also notice that she, like the other heroes in the set, is a lightning hero. Specifically, not an elemental hero with essence of lightning. This means that she can't run elemental cards like Entwined Lightning, Arcanate Shockwave, and Flicker Wisp, the latter of which is a pretty huge deal. If you remember what it was like back when original Aurora was pretty dominant, Flicker Wisp made it incredibly difficult for decks that block a lot to deal with her. If you gave her enough time, she popped off with an unstoppably large Arc Lightning Flicker Wisp combo. Now, we obviously don't know what the rest of the set is going to look like quite yet, but I must say that losing the 2-card combo probably makes her automatically more healthy for the format. Next up is Acilio Forked Continuum, who was reborn by the sacrifice of Aurora's old signature weapon, Starfall. Apparently, while he was gone, he put some serious time into the gym to bulk up and gain that extra 2 health. We gotta get Kano on whatever diet plan he was on, cause my man looks big. New Acilio says that at instant speed you can pay 1, tap him, and destroy a lightning flow token you control to discard a card and make a ponder token. But the important part of this ability is that it says if you discarded an instant this way, you may play it this turn. This means that you could discard something like Sigil Brilliance to the ability, making a ponder token, but then still also playing it out this turn, effectively going up 1 card for a resource and a lightning flow token. This seems to imply that not only will this Acilio maybe pitch a little bit more than the current one, but that it also will likely be much less Gone in a Flash centric. This is because you can't really take advantage of the ponder tokens if you're constantly putting the same Gone in a Flash in your arsenal every turn. I also expect that Acilio the Huge will run less instants because you can't just filter them out of your hand every turn for free. That combined with a slightly higher life total seems to suggest a less fragile, less glass cannon-esque wizard. And moving on to the final of the spoiled heroes, Ziggy Starlight, the Lightning Illusionist. Ziggy says at instant speed you may pay 2 resources, tap, and destroy a lightning flow token you control. If you do, banish another lightning aura permanent you control with no hollow counters. Then return the banished aura to the field with a hollow counter. Now, this doesn't really make any sense in isolation, but luckily for us we were provided with a couple extra spoilers for cards that are going to be in the Ziggy Armory deck. Aphrodisias is a 2-handed illusionist weapon that says at instant speed you can pay 1 and tap it to deal 2 arcane damage to target hero. You can only activate this ability though if an aura with a hollow counter has entered the field under your control this turn. Stardust Spike gives us a really good feel for what this would play like. This 0-cost red Lightning Illusionist instant aura has Ward 2 and says when this leaves the arena you gain 1 resource and amp 1. So basically you could play Stardust Spike, activate Ziggy to flicker it, and then use the weapon to deal 3 arcane damage to your opponent, 3 because of the amp from Stardust Spike. This is a super interesting hero to me and almost seems like a fusion of Enigma and a Waning Moon Wizard. While I'm generally not an illusionist enjoyer, I will be keeping my eye on this hero in the future. Okay, those are the heroes. Let's talk about Lightning Flow. Lightning Flow is a new elemental or a token that can be used to activate these heroes' abilities as well as some other things. It seems to function something similar to Ash in Dromai meets Cards in Soul for light heroes. It's a token that you have to jump through some hoops to get, possibly by using cards like Flowing Stormstrike, which would give you one on hit. It seems that the main quest of these lightning heroes is properly managing your lightning flow tokens to do things like activating your hero's ability and powering powerful cards like Astral Strike. All three of these new heroes do deal somewhat in arcane damage, which you can see from this duality cycle, the promos of which you can get at the world premiere in Prague. Just like before in Rosetta, LSS gives us a nice way to deal with arcane damage in limited formats with a macro, this time called Omens of Arcana, which reads that each player starts with a Lightning Flow token in play. Lightning Flow tokens get Spell Void 1, which is yet another strong use case for the tokens. I did mention it in passing, but if you want to take part in the world premiere for Omens of the Third Age, tickets go on sale March 21st for the world premiere in Prague, which will be taking place on May 22nd through the 24th. You can get tons of super cool foils and promos at the event, which I will definitely be trading for. I absolutely need to get my hands on some of those cold foil Astral Strikes. Okay, that was almost an entire episode worth of stuff right there, but we still have so much to cover. Let's pivot back to the here and now and talk about the constructed formats and how they're going in today's Metagame Minute. Lots has happened in the competitive space in the last week, but let's start off by diving into the ProQuest results for the last week of Silver Age ProQuests. Briar had an absolutely insane weekend, winning about a third of the total events. KO and Dorinthia are the next two in line, but after that we get a couple of change-ups. Kano's win share is down, while the Ninjas, Fi, and Ira have been moving up in wins. We're not going to be spending any more time talking about that though, because the banned and restricted announcement for Silver Age is going to massively change up the format anyway. Here's the breakdown. Bracers of Belief, Lightning Press, Aether Spindle, Steelblade Shunt, Sirens of Safe Harbor, and Burn Up Shock are now banned in Silver Age. And unbanned in the format are Amulet of Ice, Rake the Embers, and Rootbound Carapace. I love these changes, both the bans and the unbans. Obviously, I'm a little bit biased for the unbans because Icelander is my favorite hero of all time, and Amulet of Ice is a pretty big boost that she desperately needed. Briar gets a grand total of 3 cards banned from her deck, which definitely should bring her power level down quite a bit. I think after these changes, it's entirely possible that she's not even a top 3 deck anymore. And Decimator Great Axe Warrior losing Steelblade Shunt is probably a bigger deal than most people think it is. Losing all colors of this card makes some matchups incredibly difficult to win now, like Enigma. It also means that the deck can't stuff a Pulping Go Again nearly as easily. Sirens of the Safe Harbor was a sneakily fantastic ban in my opinion. After playing the format for a little bit, this card was incredible in a very subtle way. Playing against a deck like KO and discarding a Sirens of the Safe Harbor to one of your card's effects, gaining 1 or 2 life throughout the course of a game, absolutely can be the difference between a win and a loss. And lastly, on the ban side, Kano loses access to Aether Spindle. While this is definitely a good ban, it doesn't actually hit the wizard that hard. I wonder if LSS is banking on things like the Ninjas getting better and filling the power vacuum left from Briar to keep him down. My instant reaction to the bans is that people are definitely going to need to figure out how to beat the KO deck. And they better do it fast because the Pro Tour isn't that far away and the deck only lost a supporting piece in Sirens of the Safe Harbor. Alright, that's enough about Silver Age. Pivoting over to Classic Constructed, we had the first post-Compendium of Rathe Classic Constructed calling this last weekend, and it was such a blast to watch. Now, the metagame breakdown for this event could literally not be more diverse. We saw all sorts of heroes not just show up, but also do well. Marionette and the 2 Rosetta Wizards were ahead of the pack, sitting at about 10% of the field each, with Dash.io and KO not too far behind them. Moving over to the day 2 conversion rate, Marionette and KO converted very well, and I have egg on my face because I spent all of last week talking up Basilio, and then only 16% of them made the cutoff. Half of Prism players also made it, and Bolton did quite good as well. The real story of the event for me though was watching June play this Vincent deck so incredibly well that it had me looking up the prices of coal during coverage. If you're planning on playing some ProQuest this weekend, I would expect to see a few more copies of the Shadow Runeblade than you're used to having at your local events. Now, the top 8 of this event was the 1 Vincent I just talked about, 1 Fi, 2 Acilio, 1 KO, 1 Dio, 1 Dorinthia, and 1 Ira. A diverse top 8 from a very diverse field. It is funny to see Acilio do pretty poor generally in the tournament, but then also put up 2 copies in the top 8. Maybe my prediction wasn't quite as bad as it had initially seemed. This format is just getting started though, and with the classic constructed half of ProQuest firing up this weekend, we are in for a lot of fun. Alright, that's enough about the meta. Let's talk champions in today's weekend winners. I said it before, but Calling Montreal was a banger, and you should definitely go back and watch it if you didn't already. If you have already watched it, then maybe go back and watch it again. It was really good. The event culminated in a finals matchup between Vincent and Dash.io, where Connor Bryant piloted the Mechanologist hero to a first place finish. Also in Montreal, the Sunday Showdown event saw Brody Spurlock take Briar to another win. But our biggest winner of the weekend is undoubtedly anyone who likes Lightning heroes, because you are going to have a lot of options very soon. Congratulations once again to our weekend winners. As we wrap up this episode, let's talk about the future and all of the things we have coming up. I did mention it very briefly, but we do have another Armory deck on the way featuring our new Lightning Illusionist in stores May 29th. We also have the continuation of the ProQuest season to qualify for Pro Tour Vegas, although now it is going to be classic constructed moving forward. If you are craving some more high-level action, we do have another calling this weekend in Toulouse, which is going to be live streamed, so make sure you tune into that. That's all I got for this week's episode. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Majiin, and I'll see you next time on World Tour Weekly.